What is up, YouTube? And today I'm just sort of going to be talking about this Fortnite season and just reviewing some of the new items and discussing what I think Fortnite's doing wrong. So, I don't know if y'all remember this, but back in, I think it's chapter 4, season 1, Fortnite was released a new rank mode. I think that was the season that happened. Don't, quote me on anything. But during that season, they made zero build rank, but you didn't have all four things in zero build rank. You didn't have solos, duos, trios, and squads, right? Because they didn't want to thin out the player base. But as we see in the newer modes, we have reload, reload ranked, zero build reload ranked. We got this new blitz. We've got the new 50v50 limited time. Fortnite is thinning out their player base so much. And it's what I remember watching a Cypher PK video back in chapter 4 saying that's what they don't need to do. And I think they just sort of forgot their own advice. And when the player base was high back in the OG stuff peaked, like the first OG season, they were like, okay, maybe we can start making these more modes. That wasn't the move because now you have such a thin player base. You have people that only play Reload, people that only play Battle Royale, and they sort of don't just like mix around and have like a general like focus on their player base. So it's kind of hard to hear that feedback and them know what to do right. Now that leads into the next topic of the new weapons. I don't know if y'all know this or realize this yet. Every time Fortnite decides to like do something new, it's usually not liked. Usually. Now there's rare cases. Like for example, these are all new items in my inventory right here. We have these gold splashes. I mean, this is a pretty cool idea, the pickaxing and stuff like that. But overall, chapter 6, let's be honest, is been kind of mid. Let's not lie to each other here. But there's some cool items like this voltage burst pistol, and then there's even that pistol, the slow-mo thing. These are all cool ideas, but after you think about it for a while, they're not very useful. Now, in my opinion, the tracking visor, which is one of these new items right here, is a very useful item. I don't remember what it's like, a thermal something fish you could used to eat to do this sort of effect, but now it's like something you can have on your person, and it actually looks cool. So props to whoever on their team actually made this. So I think out of all the new items, new weapons, and utilities, and all that such, healing, all the above, the tracking visor is definitely the coolest addition. I definitely appreciate them still connecting back to those older weapons, like the Swire stuff from the like Halloween stuff with this rifle. There's certain stuff like that I think they're doing okay with the connections back. But Fortnite's player base and viewership on videos and stuff has thinned out, and honestly, their traction is kind of gone from when it was. We're sort of dipping back into a stage of unpopularness with Fortnite, and I think that's just to be expected. When the game is, jeez, it's getting old. I mean, she's coming up on 10 years within a couple years, I think. So I mean, it's getting older and older and older, and keeping player base. I mean, they've pretty much evolved. A lot of those people who started playing in the beginning aren't playing anymore, and that's just something they have to realize. And I think that the steps they've had in most recent times with seasons have sort of been stepping back. If I'm being honest, the last season that I was like, yeah, okay, this is sort of nice, that I liked was the chapter 4 stuff. I really like those additions. Now the augments and stuff weren't really it, but that was Fortnite stepping into the new area. I think they put their foot in the floor there with this season, and it wasn't really the best idea to do this. So I'm curious if everybody could go into the comments if you're still watching right now. Tell me what you think of the new stuff coming out to Fortnite. It's hit and miss. I mean, let's be honest. We can all admit that. Like, the end of chapter 3, the cars, that was a cool idea, but they made them too overpowered, and it took them too long to figure out all these nerfs, and then the pickaxe glitch was a thing forever, and all these different effects, stuff that they just couldn't fix in time. I mean, I'm not kidding. I used in chapter, that wasn't chapter 3, I bet, chapter 5, season 3, there we go. I used the cars for about the first week in ranked, and that's all I did, just to goof around, and I hit elite just by using the car, like turrets and stuff. It was so broken. Get like 8 kills a game just by blowing people up and shooting them with the turret. I mean, it's gameplay like that where the skill is fading. I mean, you could be like building like all this stuff, you could be like boom, 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 like sweat, 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 blah, 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 all this stuff. But if some kid's just sitting there with the P90 sometimes, or just, like spamming his mind off, good players can lose. And I mean, I like that they're sort of leaning towards the smaller, like worse players to sort of lower that skill gap is nice. Because I mean, you see in certain games where the skill gap is just too crazy, especially games that are getting this old, where they're almost unplayable because like almost everybody that's left playing them are too good. And I appreciate that there is that younger audience still coming to Fortnite, allowing it to still be like separate and sort of feel original, when in reality, we're getting further and further away of what it used to be. But yeah, thank y'all for listening to my opinion on what's happening to Fortnite and just me weighing in on new items and all that. So I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Hopefully I can get my stream thing figured out. For some reason, every time I stream, it just like will glitch and it'll either end and it'll lag out. Something goes wrong, but either way, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully I'll have a great continuation of y'all's summer break. I know I'm enjoying mine, and have a great day. Thank you very much, and consider subscribing. Please and thank you.